All right. So you're saying that you are concerned that full-scale war is going to break out in Israel. What do you mean, Aaron, when you say full-scale war? What does that mean to you?
So if you look what led up to the 1982, the first Lebanon war, the PLO, the old PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, set up by the late Yasser Arafat, he moved his troops into southern Lebanon on our northern border. They were constantly firing missiles, just like Hamas, just like Hezbollah. And we had had enough. We just said it is too much. There was a couple of mass slayings not far from where I live, near Haifa, up on the Mediterranean coast. And just like what's happened here on October the 7th, there comes a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. Sadly, we have to get to that point. And let me just say a word about Benjamin Netanyahu, because a lot of people are pointing the finger at him. A lot of people are ready to crucify the guy. And you know, he's not perfect by no means. But I want to defend him a little bit by saying, I personally think that he has tried everything he can to delay a full-scale war with Hamas. When they hit us, we hit back. When they hit us, we hit back. Of course, what happened is on October the 7th is unacceptable, unforgivable, and so we are forced into a war. And I think what has been happening time and time again over the years, not just since October the 7th, but Hezbollah, they've been testing our resolve. They've been provoking us on and on and on. And there's been over the last week a number of our civilians that have been hit. And I believe due to the pressure of the public and the emergency cabinet, which is left and right, the word out is that this is enough. Enough is enough. And so there is talk, because Hezbollah, they're not backing down. They are constantly. So
just to make sure our understand, you got Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, and now you have Hezbollah, which is Iran. And they're both getting backing from Iran, but Hezbollah is known for being, actually that is Iran. So now you're talking about being full at war with Hamas in Gaza and with Hezbollah in what? Lebanon, did you say?
Yes, Hezbollah are situated in Lebanon. We've already done to Lebanon what we did to Gaza. We dropped from the sky leaflets in Arabic telling the people to get out. They have fled. They have actually, a few weeks ago, they started to leave. The leader of the government in Lebanon, who is not on the side of Hezbollah, that needs to be made very clear. The people of Lebanon, they are not pro-Hezbollah. It's exactly the same what's going on in Gaza. The Palestinian people, for the majority, not all, but for the majority, they are controlled by the Hamas regime. The same thing is going on in Lebanon. The Lebanese people are under the control of the Lebanese. And of course, as you said, the Lebanese are in control of the Hezbollah, who are in control of the Iranians. So the Lebanese government had made it clear, we do not want a war. We do not want mass destruction.
So you got war in Gaza. We got strikes being made in Syria, and the U.S. is striking Iranian proxies in. The U.S. is striking Iranian proxies in Syria. So we've got rockets coming from Syria. We've got rockets coming from Gaza. We've got rockets coming from Lebanon. That's a three-front war. Is there another front we should be watching?
There's two other major fronts. The other one is in Judea and Samaria, politically called the West Bank. Mm-hmm. There have been many incidents that you might not get in the news because it happens so often. It's no longer
newsworthy,
exciting news. Mm-hmm. It's no longer newsworthy, exactly. But it's happening all the time. We are arresting, we are eliminating terrorists who are planting and who are planning and who are attacking our military in Judea and Samaria. And of course, the other front, actually two other fronts. The other one is from the very south, even further south in Gaza, and they are the Houthis. the Houthis from Yemen, who are funded also by the Iranians, and they are very supportive of Hamas. So they are a big concern. I think it's about 35%.
So that's
of
a
the
five.
Yemenite population.
That's a five fronts Israel will be fighting on.
And here's probably, now I haven't got to the big one yet. In my opinion, Brandon, I actually believe the biggest war that we are under is through the media. Is because all around the world, you know this, the viewers know this, we are, not just, when I say we, not just the Israelis, but the Jewish people, the Christians, you talk about it, I talk about it. We are under attack. Even here in Australia, I've seen swastikas. I've seen rallies. I've seen protests. Jews are being targeted. This is a massive front also that we are under. But the one that we're concerned about, of course, that I'm talking about is the big one, because we've talked about it for years. We've talked about how Hezbollah have been acquiring more and more mass weapons of destruction.
And you're going to say Iran next, aren't you?
Actually, I wasn't thinking about that because I think I'm exhausted from all the fronts that we've just talked about. But let's see what happens. And you know what's interesting, Brandon?
Well, which one were you going to say? Which one were you going to mention? Were you going to mention another one?
No. I've been focusing mainly on Hezbollah.
Okay.
But you're right. I didn't think about it. Who knows if we start, cutting off the legs of Hezbollah, which, believe me, our Prime Minister, our Defense Minister, our Chief of Staff, with the most severe warnings, they are saying, don't make the mistake of your lives. They are seriously warning Hezbollah. And about 2 weeks ago, we were already beginning to talk about the Americans pulling out of the region. Once the dust settles over, once we finish off Hamas in the Gaza Strip, maybe then what's going to happen? Americans will leave.
No, they won't.
And we started to talk about that, but right now, no.
No, it's going to be. I'm afraid there's going to be a full-on Middle East war. No one's leaving for a while. Let me get to a quick clip. How many minutes do I have, guys? Tell me in my ear. All right, let me go to this clip that's come out showing again the Hamas with their hospitals, what they're doing, and you've got to see this. I want Aaron to respond to this. Watch this.
I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to a house of a terrorist. This is one of the senior terrorists who is the head of the operational naval operations that led the raids into Israel. His house is right next to a school. His house is 200 yards from the hospital of Rantisi. Next to his house, there is a tunnel. Now I want to show you an operational tunnel. The tunnel is built with electricity. We first saw the solar panels, then the electricity goes here, and it goes down directly to the tunnel. Now you can see the tunnel. You can see the tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. The robot found a door that is bulletproof. It's explosives proof, so it looks like a hard evidence, a clear evidence that the hospital direction is connected. This is a cover tunnel. It's part of the same floor and it slides down here. So it's a cover tunnel so nobody can find it. This is Rantisi Hospital. And this is the place where I showed you the tunnel. I want you to see. This is the back side of the hospital. Hamas used this hospital. Tonight we have entered into this building. I will show you the evidence. Let's enter into the hospital. We're now entering into the area of the hospital where we had found the evidence. This operation was conducted by Israeli Special Unit, the Israeli Navy SEALs. This is still an operation that is conducting. And I'm showing you the first evidence to see. We are now in the area of the basement of the hospital. I want to show you a room where we found all the gear, the operational gear of Hamas. Hamas is using hospitals, like we showed the evidence in Shifa Hospital. In other hospitals, we are now seeing it in live in Rantisi Hospital. This kind of gear.
Wow, look at that, Aaron. I got 15 seconds. What do you make of all that, Aaron?
I'm glad that our forces are doing the job that they're paid for and that they're trained for. May God bless them. May God protect them. May God bring peace to Israel and to America.